What's up, everybody? This is Suresh from Mind is a Monkey coming at you guys with another episode of Let's Check Out Some Diecast. In today's video, we are going to be checking out a lot of matchboxes that I had picked up in recent days. So it's just going to be like a fun DLM party for Matchbox. Let's dive right in. Okay, so we are going to be checking these models out, and there's no specific order. It's like super random order. I picked up these models somewhere in the course of the last 2 to 3 months, maybe. So our first model today is a 1964 Jeep Wagoneer. So I don't think this is a new model. This is a model that made its debut probably in 2024. All right, but I kind of like dig the old vintage contours on this Jeep Wagoneer, right? So there is a toe part. Okay, so fun model. I think this will make a great Matchbox moving part. Let's set it there. Up next is a new model for 2025, and this is the 1995 BMW 318 Ti. Very fun looking model, and it's kind of like it's almost Volkswagen, but for the sliding hatch line. So it like when I first looked at this model, I was like, wow, that looks very VW golfish. At I think that's probably the illusion that was created when this was inside the blister. I mean, this one looks very Volkswagenish, right? But then, once it's out, you're able to kind of like see those contours, standard contours of BMW kind of like showing up. So okay, nice grill. Other than that, it's a simple and an elegant execution. Wow, check that out. It says E36 compact. How cool is that, right? I really like the Easter eggs at this price point. It's pretty awesome. And does it what is the tail plate that it has? It has, I'm not able to say what is above that. It may say California, but I don't think so. But E36 compact, how cool is that? All right, let's set it right there. And up next, we have a Rivian R1T, right? I think this also made its debut possibly in 2024. And this is by far like the third recolor of the Rivian. I always get very excited when I see these cars on the road saying, hey, did you know there's a Matchbox model for it? Right? Yeah, all right, okay. And up next is another new model for 2025. This is the 1966 Chevelle Wagon. Pretty cool, has a lot of, you know, Hot Wheels vibes about it, right? So nice. So a 1966 Chevelle Wagon. For some of the younger viewers on the channel, right, what makes a car a wagon, right? So a car would typically be, like the seats would be there, and then you would have a trunk that pops open, right? So a wagon is where there is a roof over the trunk, right? So this applies to pretty much every wagon, right? Whether it's like the Datsun 510 wagon, or other wagons that we've seen, so like a Kingswood estate or something like that, right? So this is called a wagon because the hatch actually has a roof, and that provides more room, right? So that is what makes a car a wagon, right? So pretty cool. Up next is another new model for 2025. It's the 2024 Mercedes-Benz EQB. I don't know whether this is like supposed to be like an electric car or something. Okay, but very beautiful work on the grill. All right, so and then nice Mercedes graphics on the rear. Okay, all right, pretty cool. Let's set it there. Up next is a stunning 2023 Toyota GR Supra. I'm positive, there's like a very similar looking Hot Wheels model in this exact color. I'm sorry, the glue or whatever, I don't know if they use super glue for this. I'm having a little bit of a struggle getting that out. All right, so there we have the 2023 Toyota Supra. It's pretty cool. And I just remember there's literally the real world version of this car that's parked in a shopping complex not too far from my home. And up next is a 1994 Lexus LS400. So that's two Toyotas in a row. So I think I basically the first big attraction about this model to me was the color, right? So pretty dope, and especially those two tone, right? I don't know if like they laid the plastic too thick or if these model really came like that. So there we have the Lexus. Let me set it there. And up next, we have a 1970 Ford Bronco. Now, I remember maybe it was like 3 months, maybe 4 months ago, I may have opened up the other companion piece of this car. I think that was like a vintage aqua blue, right? And this one's more like a squeeze green, right? All right. So there we have the 1970 Ford Bronco. Oh, beautiful grill, and supposed to be like one of those super rugged cars from the past. Ford Bronco lettering. All in all, a very cool car. All right, sitting it right there. Up next, we have a 2022 Jeep Wagoneer. Okay, so just wanted to call out. So this one is also a Jeep Wagoneer, and this is how this evolved into this, right? So because these both of these castings are Jeep Wagoneers, right? More like a then and now kind of a deal with Matchbox. All right, so nice shiny metal flake paint on this one, and fun details on the interior. I think this one's supposed to be like a seven-seater, right? So a driver, passenger, two seats in the middle section, and possibly like three seats at the back. So there we have the 2022 Jeep Wagoneer. Up next, we have the 1994 Mitsubishi 3000 GT. Now, this model has made like a couple of appearances in the past, possibly blue and black. All right, so this is like most likely the third time this casting is making an appearance in Matchbox mainlines. All right, let's set it right there. Oh, looks like I picked up another 1994 Lexus. Oh, so I'll set it there. And up next is a 2023 Jeep Avenger. Now, the funny thing is, this never called out to be a new model. So I was pretty surprised that, because this is like the first time I'm seeing it in the stores, as far as I remember. So now I think this is possibly a casting that I missed earlier, and I'm only picking it up right now. So this is 2023, another model from 2023, just like the Toyota Supra, right? So a Jeep Avenger. And one of the main reasons why I picked this car is my son. He is like big time into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Avengers and stuff like that. So I thought, hey, okay, that's curious. All right, so there we have it. And then up next is a 1963 Mercedes-Benz 230 SL. Now, I just want to kind of like take a quick moment and check out the card art on this one, because somehow, the card art really stands out on this one. Beautiful model, looking even better in that golden shade. Wow, check that out. 1963, right? So beautiful vintage Mercedes casting. All right, let's set it right there. Up next, we have a 67 Alfa Romeo Duetto. Now, again, right, this almost looked like a new model for me, but there was no new model designation on the card. So that kind of like threw me off. So a 67 Alfa Romeo Duetto. Very beautiful, retro vibes on this car. There we have the classic Alfa Romeo grille, right? So this almost, reminds me of older Mazda cars, and also has a little bit of Jaguar E-type roadster kind of vibes, don't you think? All right. So there we have the 67 Alfa Romeo Duetto. I'm just like arranging them in some random crazy order. Let's see how it comes. Up next is a 2024 Range Rover PHEV. All right. So that PHEV designation kind of like tells me this is most likely an electric car, if not a hybrid one. All right. So a Range Rover, I don't know if PHEV is a name like FEV, or PHEV is just like a designation, model designation. All right. So fun Range Rover grill. Dan Winchell is my Range Rover, Land Rover friend. Up next, we have a Lamborghini LM002. Now, this is not your classic mainline, all right? I think this is part of a series of 5 cars, and there's a good chance that this is possibly a repeat casting, but there is still, something about a Lamborghini LM002. This one definitely is one of the top 10 favorite Matchbox models that I have, right? I have managed to pick up every single Lamborghini LM002 release there ever has been in Matchbox. And the nice thing is, recently, right, in Hot Wheels Fast and Furious premium line, they made a LM002. So I picked that one up too. I think one of these days I gotta kind of like put them side by side and find out who made a better job in delivering that model, right? But of course, this one is more of a mainline tooling, while the Hot Wheels one happens to be a premium tooling. So I think those tend to be slightly bigger than the true 1:64 scale. So I think, I love the card art on this one, so I'm possibly gonna keep this carded, or maybe I'll just like go ahead open it. The reason I am skeptical about opening this is, like I said earlier, I think this is most likely like a repeat casting. All right, but there we have it. I just like went ahead and opened it anyway. So beautiful. I mean, I just love the bullish looks about this terrain vehicle. I think it's more suited for like a desert rally kind of a deal, is what I'm thinking, right? So there we have the Lamborghini LM002, and it was because of the same emotion that I thought that, oh, because sometimes Matchbox has this habit of bringing up repeat castings in a new series, and just one of them would be new, and some folks, some completionists like me, and end up buying the entire series. So I just like skipped the rest in that series, and this was the only one that I picked up. Up next is a fan favorite UPS delivery van. How cool is that, right? So express delivery. So this, I had to kind of like pick this up because if I remember correctly, I think it was 2024. Matchbox released a FedEx, right? So it's pretty cool. I mean, if you have a friend or a relative working for FedEx or UPS, how cool of a, simple but really special gift would this be, right? So UPS worldwide services. So pretty cool looking delivery van, right? Almost translucent roof, I should say, right? So I think a nice dig would be creating a Matchbox moving part with some things that opens, and possibly some 3D molds inside that includes like that looks like a lot of packages. You see what I mean? All right. So there we have the fun UPS delivery van, and up next is a 1963 Chevy Corvette. Very nice. I like again this seemed like a new model in Matchbox for me. I know we have seen a lot of Chevy Corvettes in Hot Wheels, but I was surprised why it did not have like the new casting designation. So maybe it made an earlier appearance as part of a 5 pack or something like that, right? So there we have the 1963 Chevy Corvette. Up next, this is one of my favorites, a 1968 Ford Mustang Fastback, right? So pretty dope looking car, from 1968. Wow. and you got to kind of like appreciate that color too. It's such a retro shade, right? Check this out. Pretty much these are the same paint scheme, right? So they kind of like go great, sitting right next to each other like that, don't you think? All right, so there we have a 1968 Ford Mustang Fastback, right? So I think that is possibly the level of detail that you can ask on a mainline car. It would have been really cool had we been able to kind of like the you can faintly see that Mustang there, right? You can see that riding horse right there. All right. So, but all in all, pretty cool, beautiful Mustang inscription there. So very nice. I love the execution on that Mustang. Okay, up next we have a Porsche 911 Carrera Cabriolet. There we have it. I somehow always have a strong feeling that Matchbox makes really nice looking Porsche car, especially in the mainline series, right? For that price point, Matchbox makes some stunning cars, right? And you can never go wrong with a Matchbox Porsche. That's what I feel. All right. So there we have the Porsche 911 Carrera. Up next, we have a 2014 Ford F-150 contractor truck. And there's another language. It's Camion d'Entrepreneur. Considering entrepreneur is possibly French, so I think that's his French name. But I mean, there's more to this model than just the name. Now, if you see Agave Acres, this is actually like one of the designs of legendary Matchbox designer Michael Heralda. He is Adlar58 on Instagram. So I once remember another casting. It's possibly like a van. I think it was a Renault Kangoo van, right? So that came in the same exact livery. And back in the days, there was like a small spelling mistake that I kind of pointed to, that I kind of like pointed out to Mr. Heralda. So, but here at this, yeah, I think there was a spelling mistake in tolerant, and looks like they did not have the time to fix it yet, right? If you see, there's like a small typo on tolerant, right? So, bringing to life your drought tolerant horticultural dreams. So, but all in all, in spite of that small typo, that's okay. That happens to the best of us. So, very cool, deco right here, right? And it's like all the mud splattered, right? So, pretty beautiful, amazing, execution, I should say, right? Pretty cool. Awesome. So, there we have it, the Ford F-150. And then up next, we have a 2023 Alfa Romeo Tonale or Tonale. I don't know. I think I should do a better job of figuring out what these names are. But how cool is that? Another model from 2023, right next to the Supra and the Jeep Avenger. Three models from 2023. I mean, not exactly from the Matchbox year of production, but from the year that the real world car is based on, right? So classic Alfa Romeo grille, right? So from vintage to current designs, right? That's how the grille of the Alfa Romeo has evolved. All right. Okay, let's set it there. We are down to the last two cars right now. So up next, we have a 2019 Audi TT RS Coupe. So the RS stands for Rally Sport specification, right? It's got a nice red interior, okay, pretty standard Matchbox wheels, but it's more of a coupe, right? So, okay, I think it's a coupe. I think that's what that, the E, this E has a sound, so a coupe, right? Sounds more European, I guess. So beautiful Audi grille and nice rolling wheels. Okay, awesome. Another addition to the Audi set of cars that I have. I think I did not plan on this, but one of the cool cars kind of like got saved for the last. This is the only Matchbox Power Grab that kind of somehow missed my eye when previously I had like opening of just the power grabs, right? So pretty stunning looking Toyota 4Runner. Let me open this up. Wow, check that out, right? So it reminds me of the Hot Wheels Boulevard casting, right? That came possibly out in 2017, maybe 2018, and now more recently they made like an anniversary release. So Toyota 4Runner, wow, classic 4Runner, front grille there, and 4Runner on the hatch written there. Pretty cool, simple and very very elegant and accurate execution, right? So very nice. And I mean, this is the kind of the things that I like about these mainline cars, right? So let's say you have like a friend or someone in the family who has a Toyota 4Runner. This would make such a cool gift. So there we have it, the Toyota 4Runner. And that brings us to the end of today's DLM party for Matchbox. It was a pretty cool set of cars that we opened up today. So, and now I got to start putting them into boxes. All right. Okay, till I meet you guys next time, this is Suresh signing off. Rock on and stay awesome. Bye, everyone.